Your world is not outside you. It never was. Everything you see, every circumstance you face, every person who enters your life was first born within. I do not speak to you as a man of opinion, but as one who has tested this law and proven it true. Your faith is your fortune. Faith is not begging. Faith is not hoping. Faith is the knowing, the conviction that what you desire is already yours. Before you change the world, you must change your assumption. Before the riches appear, you must say inwardly, I am rich. Before the love arrives, you must feel yourself already adored. And when you dare to speak the name of God within you, I am, with purpose, you awaken creation itself. So I ask you now, what are you calling forth with your faith? Because the world you see tomorrow is made from the words you speak to yourself today. I speak now not of blind belief, but of faith. The conscious assumption that what is hoped for is already seen. Faith is not passive. It is the power by which all things are made. The outer world is nothing more than the visible expression of inner conviction. If you would transform your life, do not wait for facts to change. Change your belief about them. Your faith is the cause, your world the effect. The moment you accept something as true within, it begins to appear without. That which you dare to assume boldly and consistently, no matter the evidence, will externalize itself in time. Faith is not hoping. It is knowing. Faith is the cornerstone of all that exists. When I say faith, I do not mean the weak, trembling belief that pleads and hopes. I speak of a bold, immovable, inner knowing that assumes its desire already exists and claims it with certainty. This faith does not look to the senses for proof. It operates independently of facts. It is the inner vision that sees beyond the surface into the invisible. It does not beg. It knows. You must understand that your outer world is shaped not by action, but by the assumptions you carry in consciousness. If you have faith that you are healthy, then health begins to mold itself around your body. If you have faith that you are abundant, then abundance must answer. This law is impersonal. It responds not to effort, but to feeling. The feeling of knowing is the essence of true faith. So many live in delay because they wait for the world to change before they believe. But the truth is the world will not change until they believe. What are you assuming about yourself when no one is watching? That's quiet faith, that unseen seed, is your true fortune. All else flows from it. When I say I am calling upon the most powerful name in the universe, the name of God Himself. It is not the name of a being outside of me. It is the awareness of being itself. This is the divine name, and it lives in me, in you, in every conscious being. You say, I am 1,000 times a day, yet you do not realize you are invoking the creative power of the universe. Whatever you attach to I am, you claim as your identity. Say, I am unworthy, and your world becomes a mirror of rejection. Say, I am confident, and the world bows to your certainty. When Moses asked, who shall I say sent me? The answer came, I am. Not a name of a distant deity, but the eternal name of being itself. I am is your true self, the formless presence animating your thoughts. Whatever you place after I am in consciousness begins to take shape in your world. Say, I am poor, and you become it. Say, I am loved, and love must appear. You are not commanded to worship a God outside you, but to recognize that I am is within. It is your awareness of being. This is the key that unlocks all doors. This is not metaphor. This is law. You are the operant power. I am is the first cause, the root of all creation. When you understand this, you stop using your name in vain. You stop declaring what you do not want. You begin speaking only what you desire to bring forth. I am is your fortune. Use it wisely, and it will bless you beyond measure. Do not be deceived by appearances. The world around you is not ultimate reality. It is a shadow cast by your inner state. Your consciousness is the only cause. Your thoughts, feelings, assumptions, everything in your life is a mirror reflecting what you believe to be true. When you rise in consciousness, the world must rearrange. The man who awakens to this truth stops blaming conditions and starts assuming responsibility. He knows that the world is himself pushed out, and in this knowing he becomes free. You must awaken to the truth that consciousness is the only reality. Everything you experience in the outer world is but a reflection, a projection of your inner state. It may appear that things happen to you, but nothing comes uninvited. Everything flows from the assumptions you hold in consciousness. Most live in reaction. They respond to what their senses report and reinforce the very conditions they wish to escape. But the awakened man sees differently. He knows that the outer is an echo, a shadow cast by yesterday's belief. He does not fight with appearances. He simply changes his concept of self. Once I understood this, I stopped asking the world to change. I began changing my mind about the world. I did not argue with facts. I assumed greater truths. If something undesirable appeared, I asked, what belief must I be holding to cause this? And then I chose anew. The moment you revise your consciousness, the world begins to move. You do not need to fix the world. You only need to change your awareness. This is the power of living by faith. For when you know that consciousness is the only reality, you realize the world is your servant, not your master. To him that hath more shall be given. This is not a cruel statement, it is law. He who has the consciousness of wealth will receive more. He who has the belief of love will be surrounded by affection. But he who lacks in spirit, even if he possesses in fact, will lose. Life does not reward need. It rewards assumption. Do not pray from a place of lack, but from fulfillment. Claim, I have, even when the world says you do not. Faith is not about what the eyes see. It is about what the soul accepts as real. Life responds not to need, but to assumption. If you say, I am abundant, even when the evidence is missing, you begin to create the vibration that attracts abundance. But if you say, I need more, you anchor yourself in lack. The law does not judge. It simply reflects. When you begin to assume you already have what you desire, you step into the realm of creation. You bypass the limitations of logic and move into the world of faith. From there, the outer world must comply. Do not wait for evidence. Feel it now. Assume it now. Walk as one who already possesses. The principle is simple. What you claim within, you manifest without. So ask yourself, what are you having in consciousness? That is the measure of your life. Your fortune lies not in what is stored in your bank account, but in the treasure house of your belief. You are always in a state, some state of being, thinking, feeling, but most move through states unconsciously. The awakened man chooses his state deliberately. He assumes what he wishes to express and remains there. States are like garments. Put one on, and it shapes how you're seen. If you wish to be successful, wear the state of success now. If you desire love, feel as though it is already yours. This claiming is done inwardly, quietly, not with force, but with faith. You do not fight the old state. You leave it by assuming the new. To claim a state, you must first drop all concern with how it will come to pass. Your work is to feel yourself already being that which you desire. That's it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Imagine with feeling what life would be like if it were already done. Dwell in that scene. Saturate your imagination with its mood. States are not fought. They are abandoned and replaced. Stop battling lack. Step into the states of sufficiency. Cease chasing love. Enter the state of being loved. This mental relocation is the only true creative act. Remain faithful to the state and the world will conform. The world is malleable. It will bend and twist itself to mirror the image you hold within. You do not need to make things happen. You only need to stay in the state that matches your desire. That state will draw its own fulfillment. True prayer is not begging. It's not a request to a distant God. Prayer is assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Enter a scene in your mind that implies your desire is already realized. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude. Repeat it until it becomes natural. Let your prayer be thanksgiving, not supplication. Do not say, please bring it to me. Say, thank you, it is already mine. In this sacred act of imagination, you plant the seed. And like any seed, it grows in silence before it appears. True prayer is not petition. It is possession. It is not asking. It is assuming. When you pray, you must feel the reality of your desire as if it were already so. This is not merely visualization. It is the emotional embodiment of the fulfilled wish. To pray successfully, you must turn away from appearances. You must deny the evidence of the senses and go inward to the only true altar, your imagination. There, in silence and in feeling, you construct your world. You do not pray to change God's mind. You pray to align with your own divine nature. Enter the scene. Hear the words. Feel the embrace. Let the tones, textures, and smells of your fulfilled desire surround you. Feel the joy of knowing it is done. And then rest. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the only condition required. It is the womb of manifestation. When you impress the subconscious with that feeling, then the rest is automatic. The world will move, people will act, opportunities will arise, all as a response to the prayer that you did not speak aloud, but lived inwardly. This is how the creative powers awaken. In the assumption, in the feeling, in the faith that it is already yours. The Sabbath is not a day of the week. It is a state of rest, a deep inner knowing that the work is finished. When you have truly assumed the end, there is no more effort. You rest not because you are lazy, but because you know, just as the farmer rests after planting, trusting the earth to bring forth, so must you rest after assuming. This rest is not idleness. It is expectancy. It is a quiet confidence that what has been impressed will express. The Sabbath is the sign that your faith is alive. To rest does not mean to stop living. It means to cease striving, to no longer seek, beg, or worry. It means to settle into the peace that knows creation is complete. Just as the seventh day in Genesis followed the work of the sixth, your Sabbath comes after the successful assumption. When you assume a new state and saturate your being with its feeling, you must then enter rest. This rest is sacred. It is the confidence of faith. It is the knowing that what you have accepted as true will externalize itself in its appointed time. Many cancel their manifestations by doubting after they have prayed. They assume, then check the world. But the world takes time to echo the new belief. Your task is to remain at rest. Guard your inner peace. Do not reopen the prayer with concern. Rest and know it is done. Your rest is the sign of your faith. The man who rests knows his fortune is already his. Every transformation begins with death. Not physical death, but the death of the old concept of self. You cannot bring new wine into old bottles. You must release the old assumptions, the old identity, the old story. This is not easy. It feels like a tearing away. But in truth, nothing is lost except illusion. When you dare to say, I am no longer that, you create space for the new. Do not mourn what falls away. Rejoice, for it is the shedding of what no longer serves. Faith demands this death, because only the new man can inherit the new world. There can be no rebirth without death. To become new, you must first die to the old. This is the death of your former self, the self-concept that no longer serves your highest vision. This death is not painful unless you resist it. Many mourn their limitations, cling to their stories, and defend their wounds. But to be reborn, you must let them go. You must say, I am no longer that. You must bury the past version of you, not in shame, but in gratitude. For it brought you here, and now you rise. You cannot live in two states at once. The old man and the new cannot occupy the same throne. So decide. Will you continue identifying with the person who lacked, feared, and doubted? Or will you take on the robe of one who is loved, abundant, powerful? This is the great mystery of transformation. You must die daily. Each time you notice the old thought, the old fear, the old habit, you must refuse to wear it again. Let it die. And each time you return to your new self, you rise anew. The cross is not punishment. It is the place where the old is crucified and the new is born. Do not chase signs. They come after belief, not before. The world says, show me and I will believe. But the law of faith says, believe and the world will show you. Wait not for evidence, walk in the assumption. Speak as if. Move as if. Live as if. The signs will follow. They must. They have no choice. The law is perfect, and it does not fail. If you have assumed correctly, the world will echo your claim. And when the signs come, they are not proof. They are confirmation of what you already knew within. So don't chase synchronicities or beg for breakthroughs. Hold the state. Assume your desire is real. And do so with such conviction that the signs become unnecessary. Then, as naturally as day follows night, the world will bend. You'll hear the compliment you once imagined. The opportunity will call when you've already thanked it in advance. The world must reflect the inner speech that's been sustained with faith. But remember, signs are not your goal. They're your confirmation. You are not seeking permission from the world to believe. You declare into the world what it must become. And it will. It always does. You need not seek riches, love, health, or success. You only need faith. For faith contains them all. It is your invisible fortune, ready to unfold as visible form. Believe you are what you desire to be, and you are. That is the secret. That is the law. The riches of the world belong to the man who believes they are his. The kingdom is within. The door is your own imagination. Your faith is the key. And once you use it, you will discover you have never lacked a thing. You don't need to earn your dream. You don't need to convince the universe. You need only to believe that what you desire is already yours. Your fortune isn't in a paycheck, a title, or a relationship. Your fortune is your faith. For faith is the seed that grows into everything else. It is the foundation, the force, the fire behind all creation. The man who possesses faith already owns the treasure. He may appear poor, but within he is rich. He may be alone, but within he is surrounded. He may seem sick, but within he is healed. And soon the world will catch up. Your faith is not measured by how often you say affirmation, but by the degree to which you assume and persist in that assumption. The world reflects not what you want, but what you believe you already have. So choose now. What will you assume? What identity will you claim? What end will you live from? Because in the end, it is always your faith that becomes your fortune. You've heard the law. You've heard the promise. Now it is no longer a matter of effort or striving or asking when. The question is no longer, can I have it? The question is, can I dare to assume it's already mine? And if I can, what kind of world would appear around me if I simply chose to believe? Now, and I ask you now, what are you calling forth with your faith? Because the world you see tomorrow is made from the words you speak to yourself today. My friends, do not wait for evidence. Feel it now. Assume it now. Walk as one who already possesses. You are. I am. The world waits. Your faith is indeed your fortune.